Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pickleball and Politics, where I combine my quest to stay out of the kitchen with my passion for politics. So, the name of this podcast, and it's probably going to be in two parts because I got so much to say, is Unfit for Duty. And it's about my little soiree up to Merrimack, New Hampshire, to see the former governor of the state of New Jersey, Chris Christie. And he was with the governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. And I've got so much to say about seeing those two in person yesterday. First of all, as you know, I start almost every episode with a little bit of pickleball. And this is the good part of pickleball. I had received word earlier in the day that there was an unexpected death in my family. And I was quite shaken by the news. And I was supposed to play pickleball a couple of hours later. So I text my pickleball people and I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. I just heard of a death in the family and it's really left me shaken. And so I don't know if I'm going to come. And one person after the other texted me back, no, come, just play one game. Even if you play one game, come over and just try to get your mind off of things for a half hour. Come play one game. Come play one game. So I pulled myself together and I went over. And I was greeted with a hug from everybody. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? We're not going to ask you. Don't go into all the details because it's going to upset you, but we just want to know that you're okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Okay, I'll play one game. And I ended up playing 3. And at the end, I felt better. And as I was driving home and saying goodbye to them, well, first saying goodbye to them and then driving home, I just thought, wow, I am so lucky that those women have come into my life when they did, because I just think they are fantastic women. And I've told you that before. I just love them and they are fantastic. And that's the good part of pickleball. You go out on the court half the time not knowing who you're playing with. And then you play again, you play some more, and you play some more, and you end up with your little gang of pickle people. And I just love my pickle people. I just love those women. They're fantastic. And they came into my life at a beautiful time, a time when they're supposed to be in my life. And I'm so happy I've met them. Okay, so to Chris Christie. I was fortunate enough to be able to go see him at the VFW in Merrimack, New Hampshire. They are VFW 8641. I want to get them a little shout out to the veterans at post 8641. I was talking to one of the guys who helps run the post there in Merrimack, and he told me they have about 170 members. Unfortunately, only about 100 who can still lift tables and chairs and all that other stuff, because they have a lot of older members. The vets were great outside. They were coordinating parking, showing people where to go, someone at the door to welcome you to their post. And they made you feel very, very welcome. And so a shout out to those great veterans. This is Veterans Day, and I today am wearing this pin that was on my dad's United States Army uniform, and it says U.S. And I wanted to wear that today, and a shout out to all the great veterans out there. There was a barbecue. They had chicken and barbecue ribs, some zucchini, and macaroni and cheese. Oh, and coleslaw, of course, and coleslaw, and some rolls. And they did a great setup of the barbecue and stuff. So shout out to those guys. They went over and above, and that post went over and above. I know the gentleman I talked to said I really should thank the ladies' auxiliary because everything that's fantastic that happens there happens because of them. That's his words, not I. So I asked who the head of the auxiliary was, and he told me it was his wife. So maybe he's trying to butter his bread just a little bit. So I sat down beside a fantastic, amazing veteran who's 95 years old, who served in World War II. He was in the Army Air Corps, and he was proud to tell me that he shook General MacArthur's hand. And the gentleman who brought him was also a veteran, and he was a veteran of Desert Storm. And he told me he is so happy to take this World War II vet, whose first name was Bob, anywhere he wanted to go. And he wanted to come to say today and see Chris Christie. So I asked Bob what he wanted to ask Chris Christie. And he said he wanted to ask him about the invasion that is going on at our southern border. And when Bob got up, boy, I'm going to get to it later because I know I'm not going to be able to talk about everything initially. Bob, man, I'm going to tell you, I wish I was as sharp as Bob is at 95. He knew everything. He told me he still drives, etc. So I had Bob over here, and the man whose name was Chris, who drove Bob, like I said, Desert Storm veteran. They were also VFW members, but from a different post, 15, 20 minutes away, but they came to see Governor Chris Christie. To the right of me were two ladies. I don't know what they were doing here. They were not Republicans. They are Democrats. They say they're moderate Democrats, though, and they both voted for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, but they said that they love Chris Christie. And to me, that says everything you almost need to say about Chris Christie. Actually, I don't technically have to tell you anything else but that in a lot of ways, but Chris Christie exposed himself to me, and I do feel like I was in deep state territory, or at least administrative state. I think first we have administrative state, then we go to deep state. These ladies thought that Trump was a complete fraud and a liar, and they want anybody but Trump. So they have nothing good to say about Trump. They didn't like Trump, but even if it was Chris Christie and Biden, they said they'd still vote for Biden. So, hey, whatever. Okay, so there were probably about 125 people. Oh, you know what? Before I get on with the two women, I did say to them, they asked me my position on abortion, and they said that it's up to a woman. She should be able to decide what happens to her body between her and her doctor. And so I asked them, so you feel the same way on the vaccine, right? It's really my body, my choice, and not just me personally, but the whole world. If you believe that it's between a woman and her doctor, whether she aborts a child or not, then I hope you feel like it's between a person and their doctor, whether they get vaccinated or not, and that it shouldn't be mandated anywhere. They also told me something else, and I told them, well, we can end our discussion right now because we really have nothing in common, and we were pleasant to each other, and that's what you have to be in this environment, because I'm not here to talk to these two ladies. I'm going to tell you, I was here to talk to World War II vet Bob, because he made the entire night worthwhile. It was an honor and a pleasure to be in his company. And we did give each other a big hug when he left. So I will say Governor Chris Sununu was with Governor Christie. There were probably, as I said, maybe 125 to 40 people, I would say, not counting the press. The press was there. Chris Sununu came out and he said he was not anti-Trump. He was just pro-Republican. He then introduced Chris Christie. Chris Christie was with his life. I'm sorry. He was with his wife. He was with his wife at the event, and he came out. And this is almost where I'm going to stop at this last thing I have to say. We've been hearing for months that Joe Biden is too old to serve, and a lot of people questioning if Donald Trump isn't too old to serve. Okay, those are valid questions, especially when it comes to Biden. Completely valid questions. I mean, I've seen Trump enough to know that I believe mentally he is fit to serve. Let's talk about Chris Christie. The man is unfit for duty. He is unfit to serve. He just is. Physically, he is not fit for this job. This might offend some people. What can I'm just telling you my observations here. You have to be in a reasonable amount of shape to be the president of the United States. That man is not in shape. He is just not in shape. He's not fit for duty. And he is just not fit to serve. And I mean physically not fit to serve. Being the president of the United States requires a certain amount of physical stamina. And I do not believe that Chris Christie, besides I don't agree with him on almost anything, Chris Christie is not fit to be commander-in-chief. Okay, I knew I got so much more to say. So this is part 1 of Chris Christie in Merrimack, New Hampshire. And I believe he is unfit to serve. Once you get through with this, go watch part 2 because it's coming. Okay, just a reminder, you can reach me on Twitter at Pickle and Paul. You can reach me on Getter and on Instagram at Pickleball and Politics. You can leave me a comment here on my YouTube channel, which is Pickleball and Politics, or go to my website, pickleballandpolitics.com, and I'll see you right after this for part 2. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.